There was another guy who tried to take my shine. He lost his shine, now I have your shine. You didn't get into the cage tonight, but Israel Adesanya, get your back in the UFC so we can settle the score.
Relax. This is my African brother right here. Let's go. What's up? Let's go. Yeah, what's up?
Get this
Don't do yeah, my African brother. Yeah, my African brother. What's up?
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours.
Sorry, my let's go. You my real. I'll show you.
So what are you saying to everybody in New Zealand? What are you saying?
I'll tell you one thing, yo. I don't need a DNA test. I don't need a 36 and me to know where I'm from. If I do a 26 and me, they'll say I'm from Nigeria. Do a 26 and me DNA test. It'll tell you where you're from. I will show you where you're from.
I'm going to take a belt to Africa. I'm the African fighter in the UFC. Myself and Cameron, we breathe the African air. We wake up in Africa every day. We train in Africa, we're African born, we're African raised. We still reside in Africa, we train out of Africa. That's an African champion, and that's who I'll be.
I've never questioned him as an African because, yeah, you were born in Africa, South Africa. Of course, you're an African. I've never questioned that. As a product of colonization, you're trying to tell me who the f I am. You can take the boy out of Africa, but you can never take the Africa out of the boy. I never ever did that to him. I never discredited him as an African. I just, okay, there you are, cool. That pissed me off, and that's why he's my next fight.
Oh no, it's nothing personal. It's not personal at all. That's just the fight the fans want to see. I want to fight the best competition. There's a lot of guys that are going to be fighting, but the fans want to see Israel Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis.
And Israel, he's still a big star, man. You know, I know a lot of people love to hate on Izzy these days. Strickland did a good job of turning the fan base, that's for damn sure. But he's still a draw, and he's still a hell of a fighter. And honestly, Dricus needs that fight to really solidify himself as champion. He needs to fight Israel Adesanya, and I, for one, I want to see it as a fan.
And Israel Adesanya, he arrives at the UFC debut here tonight.
I could have just stayed in kickboxing. Well, I want to challenge myself.
We mentioned nearly 80 pro kickboxing bouts reported.
I just know I want to be the best, so I'm here to prove that I'm the best fighter in the world.
That is a great debut. We knew he had striking skills and no shortage of confidence.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Oh, another knockdown! Israel Adesanya!
That's the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it.
I keep saying, man, I don't throw in hope. I aim and fire.
One of the greatest title fights you will see.
Hey, Rob, I'm the champion. Let's go.
Israel Adesanya is what he knew and thought he was, the best middleweight on planet Earth.
He is making a lightning bolt for the best middleweight of all time.
Who can stop that man?
Hey guys, if you have been watching Adesanya's and Dricus du Plessis' fights over the past few months, you might think that Adesanya is more motivated than ever for this grudge match. He's set on making a comeback as a top contender. I mean, he's knocked out everyone, right? Dricus du Plessis looks a bit sloppy on his feet, so there's a good chance Adesanya could land a nasty knockout. But then, if you re-watch Adesanya's fights, you need to remind yourself, wait a second, he lost against Strickland at UFC 293, and that against Whitaker too, despite the judges giving him the win. Then you will realize that you are falling into the classic trap of overrating him, and that is only because of his counter-striking skills. If Adesanya doesn't get an early KO, which he's only done in the first or second round of his UFC career, things might turn out differently. His knockouts of Robert Whitaker and Alex Pereira were impressive, but they both had vulnerabilities. Whitaker's been through wars, and Pereira struggled with his weight cut. Dricus du Plessis is underrated in his ability to strategize. Look at how he handled Whitaker and Strickland. He had a solid game plan each time. If du Plessis can survive the early rounds, and I think he can, Adesanya might not be as dominant as people think in a classic kickboxing match. When I talk about a point-style tit-for-tat battle over 5 rounds, I mean when Adesanya and his opponent are trading kickboxing moves. Early on, he's dangerous. He's fast, with an awkward rhythm in his counters. But when faced with adversity, his confidence visibly drops. He dropped Whitaker in the first round, all confidence, but by the second, he was a different fighter. From then on, it was like watching a UFC video game set on repeat, the same strikes over and over. Israel Adesanya, known by his moniker The Last Stylebender, initially built his reputation on an unpredictable and dynamic striking style that made him one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. His early fights showcased a diverse arsenal, including spinning elbows and flying knees, which not only enthralled fans, but also kept his opponents guessing. This unpredictability was a key factor in his rapid rise to the top of the middleweight division.
You look at Polakasi, you think, oh, he's got to go in with these dangerous strikes.
I know you're mad. Cut to the camera. I know you're mad.
I mean, with ease, John. With ease.
However, as Adesanya has matured in his career, there has been a noticeable shift in his fighting style. This transition may be attributed to several factors, including the level of competition, the strategic adjustments made by his opponents, and perhaps a more cautious approach to ensure longevity in his career. High-risk maneuvers like spinning elbows and flying knees, while spectacular, also carry a significant risk of counterattacks and energy expenditure, which might explain their reduced frequency in his recent bouts. Adesanya's recent performances have shown a tendency towards a more measured and predictable striking pattern, relying heavily on jabs and low kicks. This change has not gone unnoticed, with critics pointing out that his output drops significantly when he doesn't find early success. The psychological impact of not landing significant early strikes can lead to a more conservative approach, focusing on basic techniques rather than the creative combinations that once defined his style. Dricus du Plessis presents a stark contrast with his relentless pressure and solid chin. His fighting style is built on constant aggression, disrupting his opponent's rhythm with a mix of body kicks and jabs. This pressure can be particularly effective against fighters like Adesanya, who prefer to maintain distance and dictate the pace of the fight. Du Plessis' ability to absorb strikes and continue pressing forward can force Adesanya into uncomfortable situations where his output drops and his reliance on jabs and low kicks become more apparent. The effectiveness of Adesanya's jab has also come under scrutiny. Despite its visual appeal, it lacks the sharpness and consistency seen in elite strikers. For instance, Robert Whittaker, a former champion and top contender, has successfully outjabbed Adesanya in their encounters. This exposes a vulnerability in Adesanya's game, as the jab is a fundamental tool for controlling range and setting up other strikes. If his jab fails to be effective, it undermines his entire striking strategy. Moreover, Adesanya's kicks, which often appear impressive in training footage and on social media, have not translated effectively into his fights. The discrepancy between training and fight performance could be due to several factors, including the quality of his opponents, their ability to read and counter his kicks, and perhaps a cautious approach to avoid takedowns or counterstrikes. Dricus du Plessis will have a perfect game plan, defensive, grappling-focused. He'll take Adesanya down, disrupt his rhythm, and control the fight. Adesanya's been taken down before, though he's tough to keep down. Plessis might not submit him, but he'll dominate on the ground and pound. Adesanya could still pull off a win, like against Gastelum, but if he doesn't, he might lose on points. I'm worried they might rob my boy Dricus du Plessis. Adesanya might need to switch it up. He can't just cruise, throwing the same strikes at the same pace, and expect to win against a powerhouse like Dricus du Plessis. Dricus du Plessis has insane cardio, a granite chin, and a solid game plan. He'll be defensively strong. Adesanya's low output won't cut it in a 5-round war. Once his quick-twitch abilities fade, he struggles in a back-and-forth kickboxing battle. Dricus du Plessis isn't low output. His volume increases as fights progress. Plus, this fight's in Australia, and Adesanya didn't fare well there last time. Strickland was the fan favorite, and Adesanya looked uncomfortable all week. This time won't be easier, especially with Adesanya's recent comments possibly stirring things up. Adesanya tends to get into character arcs before fights, but this time, it might backfire. There's a racial undertone now, with talk about who's the true African. Adesanya's past remarks, and being booed in Australia before, won't help his case. With South African fans flying in for a rugby game supporting Dricus du Plessis, Adesanya might face a hostile crowd again. South Africans love their champions, and Dricus du Plessis could have a home field advantage with support and media attention. In contrast, Adesanya might feel the pressure. Last time the crowd's backlash affected him. Dricus du Plessis will be more relaxed, soaking up the support. It's going to be intense, with Aussies booing Adesanya and South Africans cheering for Dricus du Plessis. The atmosphere could be overwhelming for Adesanya, especially if he doesn't adapt his approach. This fight might go the distance because both have solid chins, and Dricus du Plessis' ground game isn't likely to submit Adesanya. Adesanya might get back up if taken down, but he could be out-volumed and overwhelmed on his feet. It'll likely be the same rhythm: jabs, leg kicks, feints, but Dricus will throw more strikes each round, possibly 20-25 significant strikes. I think Dricus du Plessis will win this one. He might just beat Adesanya convincingly. Adesanya seems to be getting too emotional in the lead-up, while Dricus du Plessis remains calm and collected. With strong South African support and potential boos from Australian fans, it could get ugly. That's why I'm changing my pick. I'm going with Dricus du Plessis. Thanks for watching, fight fans. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fight promos and combat sports news. See you next time on Planet MMA.